This podcast episode is brought to you by the Canine Cooperative, an exclusive community of dog owners where you can find me live every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. to talk all things dogs. Find us online at vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com/cooperative. Enjoy the show.
Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer Ian Grant, and this week, it's hard to believe in 6 years we've never covered this topic, but I'm sure we'll come up with more of these as we go along. Dealing with delivery people. Obviously, how your dog reacts to when they're there, especially when they're inside, I would imagine.
Yeah, because dogs are our alarms. That's part of the reason why we get dogs too, is just because of what they hear outside. And they're obviously, and their hearing is much better than ours. So this is a part of them letting us know that, hey, there's something outside that I'm a little concerned about. So it can be a big deal. Yeah.
So how do you handle your dog when a delivery person comes and their reaction? I guess the reactions could be different depending on the dog.
Yeah, I think if you ask a delivery person, they probably have treats ready and they may know the dogs on the route if they've been doing it for a while, the good ones, the sketchy ones, and everything. First things first, I think we have to decide as a family of dog owners is, okay, do we want the dog to bark? Do we want them to keep barking while the delivery person is there just to let us know everything's okay? That's really the first step is, do we want this to continue or do we want it, do we want just a few barks to let us know somebody's there, we see who it is, and then for it to go away? And in my experience, most people go with the latter here. They just want the initial alarm and then, okay, I know who it is. I'll go get the package.
It doesn't have to be a full 5-alarm deal.
Yes. Yeah, somebody's trying to break in kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I've, people bring videos and they show me, and so some dogs just keep barking and barking and barking and barking. The unfortunate positive experience for dogs is the more they bark, it actually makes the delivery person technically go away.
Nervous.
Yes, because also, when the barking continues, the barking doesn't stop until the driver leaves the driveway with the vehicle. And so then the dog looks at it like, if I just keep barking, they're just going to go away. So now it becomes empowering to the dog. And so for me in this situation is, I would actually, if I'm expecting something, in the next couple of days, I'm going to put a leash next to the door. Delivery truck pulls in, I'll use the leash, put it on my dog. I will go outside, and I would just put my dog into a sit just next to me so we can watch the delivery guy. Now, listen, most of these people are on a tight schedule here, so it's not like they're going to sit there for an hour
and socialize and get to meet the dog and all that.
Yes. However, for me, I think the one goal I want is for the barking to stop before the guy or girl pulls out, because we don't want to empower them with all this barking. It may be tough to just say to the delivery driver, hey, do you have just 1 extra minute? I just want to get him to stop barking first before you leave, because we want to create that positive experience. And so if we can create that and the delivery person drives out, then we're good. I may give my dog a little bit of affection, and then we walk back inside. The tough part is we don't have deliveries coming to our houses every single day.
Yeah.
And so we have to work on it when we can.
Yeah, and then, of course, what about what happens when, say you're getting a delivery, maybe you didn't expect it, and there's nobody in the house and the dog's barking and barking and barking. So do you lose what you gained if you tried training them earlier?
I don't believe so, because it's a different environment for our dog. That's my belief.
Because they know they don't have any supervision.
Well, there's that, and also there's a sense of protection knowing that my dog is at home, and if there's somebody around, they're going to just bark. I'm kind of okay with that, just because of, there's not many people that I don't think would enter a house while a dog is barking.
No.
You don't know what you're going to run into. Yeah. And so in that situation, that's a good question. I think there'd be a distinct difference with us being there compared to, the dog being home alone.
Yeah. Now, I was on the delivery end of this whole scenario. Back when I was a kid, I used to deliver milk from Mansfield Dairy. And some dogs would just be out. They wouldn't even be on a leash. They'd be out at the property, and they'd be barking and barking. And, of course, you're a little bit intimidated as a 14-year-old, and I've always had dogs that never get bit. So I would tell the person who I was delivering milk with, you take care of that one. But he said, you got to be trained to do this. So he taught me how to, of course, he must have known the dogs better. He knew there wasn't a vicious dog, knew I wasn't going to get hurt. So you just keep walking, you just ignore them, just keep walking in a straight line, you go in, and you come back out, and that advice was invaluable to me. So, and I used it beyond other things. When I see all the dogs, I don't get too excited about it. So.
Isn't it amazing how something like that from that many years ago, of course, there's so many different things of there's no dogs being hooked anywhere, there was no leashes, dogs weren't being walked.
It was different back then.
So different. And then you have somebody like that who was, to me, way ahead of his time, just saying, just ignore and keep walking by is... It's brilliant. It's amazing.
Yeah, obviously knew the temperament of the dog too. I mean, you wouldn't have sent. Well, of course, you would hope that owners of the dog would not have a dog that's vicious out there. That would be a whole different story.
Yes.
But yeah, I've always had that advice has served me well over all these years.
That's amazing.
I don't think I've ever been bitten by a dog either. Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Are you looking for a way to save money on dog training? Look no further. The Canine Cooperative is my exclusive community of dog owners that are learning about leash handling, body language, and the building blocks of dog psychology. Join today and use coupon code SAVE50 at checkout and get 50% off your first month. For less than $10, you can start training your dog today to get the results you've always wanted. This offer is only available for a limited time, so don't wait. Click on the SAVE50 link in the show notes to end the struggle of dealing with unwanted behaviors. Don't forget to tell your friends and family about this amazing deal. Thanks for listening and happy training.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. To find out more about his facility, log on to VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. The question this morning, Ian, is my friend and I both have new puppies. Should we get together for play dates? That's an interesting question. Does it depend on the level of training for each dog too, or not necessarily?
I wouldn't say level of training. You know, when I think play dates, I just think they're just going to romp and play and all that kind of stuff.
Have fun, yeah.
Yes. However,
okay, I knew that was coming.
I think it's more important for puppies to have an older dog around. Now, I'm not saying senior dog. I'm just saying maybe 3, 4, 5 years old. Because there are times puppies do learn certain things from each other, but there can be more learned from the older, more experienced dog.
The ones that have been around the block.
Look, you just talked about the delivery driver. He'd been around. He had more experience. He was teaching the young buck what to do with these dogs.
Exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, and so in this situation with puppies, again, I don't think there's a lot of trainers that teach like puppy classes or just they let puppies just play the whole time without an older dog around. And I feel like there needs to be more structure. There needs to be an adult dog there that is capable of this, that is not going to take it too far and not going to hurt anybody. But it's going to be more valuable if you have an older, more seasoned dog there to kind of teach the ins and the outs and the intensity of play and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you don't have an older dog that's around. It's just you and your friend there, and you each have a puppy. So how would you approach that if that's the scenario?
I think if that's a scenario, I would probably put a leash on each dog for them to drag around and play. And so if one of them starts to get too intense, that we can just grab the leash, pull them away, get them to relax for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then they can go back to playing again. So I'm just going to create a cap, a ceiling, if you will, of how intense the play can be. So we don't have the seasoned dog there, so we're kind of the substitute teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just going to do the best that we can.
Yeah, so there's no harm. Just letting them feel each other out, but just monitor it a bit.
Yep.
If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Next week, eye contact and avoidance.
Yeah, you may be surprised to know that I don't teach dogs to give me eye contact or to look directly at me during stimulations. And so we're going to touch on that because this is an interesting subject, and especially the look on the client's face when I tell them that they're kind of confused.
Yeah, you're going to tell us why next week.
Yep.
On Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.